Perfect. Here we go. We are recording today from a different location. We're actually in my house. There's this room upstairs. It's an awesome, beautiful bonus room that we have upstairs that's like a gym and a living room, but off of that is this super awkward room. So if you've been following me on Instagram, which I have a new Instagram handle now, it's not Sold by Stevie. I've had that for almost 8 years and I decided to switch it up, but I share a lot of behind the scenes on there. And so you've seen that I've been dabbling with photography, specifically branding photography for entrepreneurs. And anyways, I wanted to be able to practice with headshots. So I already have these super awesome professional lights. I also have this actual backdrop stand for events, but I just picked up this little backdrop from Amazon, which I'll link it below if you're interested. I just set up this space upstairs and I'm really curious to see how it ultimately ends up looking. In this room, since it's small, there's not a whole lot of stuff in here. It kind of echoes a little bit, so I'm sorry if that comes through. I've got this Rode mic on top of the camera, so hopefully that works great. Let's just get into things. We're gonna be talking about today in this video events. Specifically, entrepreneurs who are wanting to host events for networking purposes to be able to grow their business. So obviously I'm a residential real estate agent, so this will be probably geared towards real estate agents, but I really think that anybody could watch this video that is a business owner wanting to grow. Okay, so little backstory. When I got into the business, when I got my real estate license almost 8 years ago, I was obviously 8 years younger, and at the time, I don't recall any of my friends wanting to buy real estate. And I know a lot of training is specifically geared towards reaching out to your sphere, but I didn't even feel comfortable with that. I didn't have the confidence with that. I felt like I am a brand new real estate agent. Like, who is gonna use me for one of their largest investments? I don't know if this is an insecurity that you have had, but I certainly did. So I knew that I needed to meet people that didn't know that I was brand new, especially those first couple transactions. I would have felt so much more insecure if they knew that I was brand new. So when I get my real estate license, a lot of training was saying like having customer appreciation events, which we are going to dive into, but I want to also gear this video towards someone who might be brand new into the business or is, you know, a year or two in maybe, and they are looking to grow. So when I got into the business, I didn't know anybody and I didn't have past clients to host an event for, to do a customer appreciation event. So I really started gearing towards just hosting networking events. So I was inviting my friends. I was also inviting people who were in my industry. So yes, other real estate agents, but also closing attorneys, title companies, home inspector, mortgage lenders, stagers, interior designers, like anyone who has that real estate niche. That seemed to be like the easiest people to invite to something like this. But think of your friends who are business owners, or maybe somebody that you have connected with on social media, let's say, that you know has a side hustle or a business. That was what I specifically geared the networking events towards, was other entrepreneurs and inviting them to the event. So the first one that I actually did was at a restaurant, and it was really easy to book with them. It was a nice restaurant and they also had pool tables. I love having an activity at an event. So that was the first event that I ever did. I didn't have any past clients. I think at this time, honestly, I don't even think I had a closing yet. But this was such a great way to get in front of other people, to build that relationship with them. And we're gonna dive into this process, but before we do, I wanna touch base on confidence, because I think that this is a huge part when hosting events. Because from speaking with other entrepreneurs and speaking with other real estate agents, a lot of people don't feel like they have the confidence to host an event because they don't think that they can, or that they know enough people, or that it won't be successful, that people won't show up. Like a ton of self-talk goes through our brains. And trust me, I feel the same way. And I have these exact same insecurities, and I think about them every single time I do an event. I'm always nervous. I am always hopeful that everyone is going to have a really great time and that there's going to be a great turnout. The reason why I mention this is, although I still feel that way when hosting events, I want you to know that your feelings are validated. I think that it's normal to have those feelings. To be honest with you, it never really goes away. I think the more events that you do, the more confident that you will feel, and it's not hindering you from doing the event. So although there are nerves there, it's not hindering me from hosting events. And I promise you, as you get started, as you get going, you are going to feel so much more confident about it. And I promise you, hosting events, it builds such credibility in front of your sphere. You are going to be able to provide so much value and be able to build more meaningful relationships with your sphere, and it's going to help your business grow. And let's get into all of the logistics. All right, so you're thinking about hosting an event. Hope that you have a pen and paper because we are going to strategize your next event. So let's think about it. Do you have past clients? Is this going to be geared towards past clients? Is it going to be a past client appreciation event or a event of your sphere that you are hopeful that in the future that they will buy? Are you wanting to gear this towards people that you want to build a closer relationship with? Or is it potentially a network event that you're going to invite other business owners, that you're going to try to help each other's businesses? Kind of like what I did when I first started. So really taking time to write down your ideal person that is going to attend your event. What does that look like for you? For each person, I really think that all of this is going to be different, so you really need to take the time to figure out that strategy. Now, one thing that I found to be really helpful, and this is something that you need to figure out in the very beginning, and that is who is going to be helping you with this event, or is it just going to be you? And that's fine too. Events don't have to be this 100+ people event. This could seriously be an event with 10 or less people. The number of people does not matter. We all have to start somewhere. Even if you're trying to strategize a 5-person event or just call it a meetup or a get together, that is perfectly okay too. But let's just think, in case you're wanting to have a good number of people there, who is going to help you with this? This is the reason why there are event planners, obviously, because there is so much that goes into it. And honestly, I did it myself in the beginning. I didn't think that I had the funds to hire an event planner. So if that's where you are at, that is perfectly okay. One thing to think about though, considering how time consuming it is, because just think, and we're gonna dive into all the things that you have to do, but getting quotes, having conversations with people, negotiating, setting up times, coordinating. There's so many things. Answering everyone's questions. We're gonna dive into it. Having someone else handle these items for you are going to alleviate so much more time for you to focus on your business or your life. And although there is an expense with event planners, there is a way to get this entire event sponsored, and we'll dive into that. First things first is to hire an event planner. If you don't know of anybody, Google it, look it up on Instagram, ask your friends. Start today with asking your friends if they know of anybody that wants to be an event planner. This is something that you're going to leverage all over social media, so why not start today? Hey, I am going to host this event coming up in the next month or two. I'm looking for an event planner. Who do you know? I feel like word of mouth, getting recommendations from your friends is the best. So let's start there. Now, when moving forward, if you have an event planner, they're gonna go over and help you with all of these items. And just think like, this is their job. So they probably have connections with resources or, have recommendations of other places that they've hosted events for. There's so much value that event planners bring. But if you're not having an event planner, that's okay. So let's figure out the venue. So really taking the time to strategize your area, really trying to keep it on brand, let's say. Like everyone knows I have a dog. Everyone knows that I absolutely love Goldie. So I had hosted an event once at a place here in Jacksonville called Canine Social, where people invited their dogs, and it was a place that we had catered, and there were drinks there, super chill atmosphere with some music, and I kind of feel like that's on brand with me because people know that I have a dog and that I love dogs. So just kind of thinking about yourself, things that you're interested in, that your friends are interested in, thinking about your ideal client, maybe places that they would typically be hanging out at. One thing that's been really huge, because Jacksonville is so huge, so sometimes I get really nervous about the venue because there's a lot of places that aren't centrally located. No matter where I have it, there's going to be people who don't live near that area and they're going to have to drive. I've just found it really hard to cater to everybody. So really figuring out a place that is going to be perfect for the number of guests that you have, that are kind of like on brand with your personality, that you think will, you know, be easy access for others, and ones that will be within your budget is huge too. Then there is figuring out what time of day that you want to do this. So I'll share with you that a lot of the events that I have done have been on Thursday late afternoons up until about like 7ish. That seems to work for me because, especially for entrepreneurs, there's a lot of people who are able to come early, but then there are those people that probably can't get there until 6. They're gonna be the ones that stay until it's over, right? So I think kind of trying to figure out with your audience, like when would be the best time. That's kind of just something that I had came up with. I think it's beneficial to do it. I mean, I'm no expert by all means, like ask an event planner, but I feel as though for myself, when it comes to events, like I'm more likely to go to one when it's towards the end of the week, because it's like on Monday, it's a new week, you're busy, you're getting back after it. And once I get towards the end of the week, that's kind of like when I have a little bit more social time, if that makes sense. So I feel like towards the end of the week or a weekend is pretty ideal. And this all depends on like your venue and your audience. So really taking the time to strategize this the best you can, it will be worth it. But another thing that you could do is post on Instagram. Ask your audience when would be the best time for them. Give them a poll and give them a couple options. Then you're gonna wanna nail down food and drinks. So does the place that you're wanting to host at, do they offer food? Some places require you that if you're gonna have food, like you have to order through them. So it's definitely something to look into. Otherwise, lean on your event planner or ask your Instagram audience their favorite places to cater. Otherwise, you know, you'll have to do some research yourself of places in the area. And same thing with drinks. Like, does this place that you're using for the venue, does it have a bartender that sometimes you have to use their bartender, or can you bring another bartender? It seems to be really popular that friends have businesses where they have like a mobile bartender that will come to you. They are licensed and insured and they have their own bar set up. They bring all their supplies. You usually just have to supply the alcohol. Looking into those couple different avenues will be really beneficial. Music is something to think about. I have done both options where I've had a DJ, and I've also had the option where we just use a Spotify playlist. So depending if the location has some speakers and has the Bluetooth capability, which I would think most venues are going to have this, but certainly does not hurt to ask if that is the route that you're wanting to go. One thing that I think is super fun for events is swag bags. So if you're having a good number of people there, it can get quite expensive. So you could do some kind of fun incentive where you're like, hey, first 20 people who get to the event get a swag bag. You can also collaborate with other business owners or your sponsors with coming up with ideas and funding for the items that are in the swag bags. I think having good photo spots is really beneficial, at least for me. I feel like my audience and the type of events that I do are usually geared towards women, So probably if you're a male or you have a lot of men at these events, that probably doing photo backdrops might not be something that would be on brand for you at all. Like, only you know this. But for myself, I really love having photo backdrops because you can honestly just have a tripod, have your phone always set up in there to take the photos, or whoever wants to get photos taken, they can just easily use their phone, or you can use an iPad. There's also photo booth options. You can also hire a professional photographer to do the events, and that always just seems to be such a big hit. This last Galentine's event that I had hosted, we had a photo booth, and it was the first time I ever had a photo booth. It was such a hit. So I highly recommend getting creative with some backdrops. You can even do something like this with a really fun backdrop. Easily buy this stand on Amazon. You could get a backdrop off of Amazon. The party rental place may have backdrops that you're able to rent as well. Maybe the venue has some really cool photo spots as well. It was the first Galentine's that I offered that you could get like a new headshot or lifestyle photo. And for those, I want to say that we didn't even use like any kind of special backdrop for that. We just used a white wall, and there was a super cute chair. So some people were like sitting down against the white wall in the chair, but some people were just leaning up against the wall or just standing in front of the wall. So, you know, sometimes for some locations, you don't even need to get extra backdrops. Just something to consider and something fun that's been a really big hit. I am such a huge fan of activities at my own events and even other events that I go to. Of course, I love just going to some place, grabbing a drink or grabbing a bite to eat, but it always just makes it a little bit more fun when there's some type of activity. So with the events that I have been doing, I've always made sure that there are multiple activities for people to come there and do besides just grabbing a drink or grabbing a bite to eat and standing around. It's awkward. It can be really intimidating for people to come to your event. And so I think when you have an activity, it's a really nice icebreaker and it has people doing something, whereas they're not just expected to walk around and go talk to everybody. And naturally, people end up coming into great conversations over the activity. It could even look like having other vendors come in. So for example, because this is fresh and we just did the Galentine's, we had a flower bar where the event planner went to, I'm not sure, probably Trader Joe's. They have really affordable flowers there, filled up empty buckets, and people were able to make their own flower vase. So they picked flowers, the Trader Joe flowers, and had a little tiny vase that they were able to fill and take home with them. But we had vendors that, like a Botox company, they were able to showcase their skincare products. They were also able to do Botox there if people were interested. We had an interior designer and she had products that she sold. We had a women's boutique come and they brought dresses, accessories, purses, so people were able to do all of the shopping. Just thinking of things like that for people to be able to do. You can also incorporate vendors, other business owners to come supply the activity. All right, so I know we touched base on photos, hiring potentially a photographer, but also a videographer could be really fun because this is something that you can use to promote after the event, showcasing it. But also if you're wanting to do that same event next year, like of course you could use the photos, but you could also share that video that you did from the previous year promoting your event that you're doing again. Okay, before we wrap this up, we're gonna end this video talking about sponsors. These events can get expensive. This last event that I did was $6,000. That is a lot of money. It's a lot to come out with out of pocket. So I'm gonna share with you what I've done for sponsorships. In Canva, I created a template where it has multiple tier options. So if you donate X amount, here's what you'll get. You donate this amount, here's what you'll get. Donate this third tier amount, here's what you'll get. You can customize this. You can change the font, you can change the colors, you can change the prices, you can change what is all included. I'm sure you're very familiar with Canva. With this, I like to use this to present to people to potentially sponsor. And I really like to do this via email. Also, you can include a video. and really sharing with them something one-on-one, letting them know what this event is, who it's for, when it's at, why you want them to be a part of it, how can they provide value, what are they going to benefit from attending this event and sponsoring the event. Because a lot of times, like, you could be asking for potentially a decent amount of money. So you want to make sure that you are professional about it, that you're going to be able to provide value to this sponsorship. So I think there's just nothing better than video, and conveying this over video can seem much more personal than giving a call, sending a text, sending an email. So I highly recommend something short and sweet, probably under 5 minutes, and gearing it towards your potential sponsors. And then inside of the email, enclosing the template, explaining to them so that they know, okay, here are my options, here's what I'm going to get. And then explain to them, okay, what are the next steps? Now, let's say they've decided that they want to move forward. Well, where do they go? How do they pay? What does, even after they pay, what does it look like? So usually we'll say, just summing this up very quickly for lack of better words, but here is the link of where you'll go pay for the package that you chose. And then after that, we'll send you a follow-up email with the items that I will need from you to use for marketing purposes. So then once they have paid, I'm sending them an email, thanking them so much for being a part of this. Maybe there are some items that you've included that you need to get to work on for them right away. For me, it usually looks like getting their marketing materials, like their logos or any photos that I need or any names or contacts that I need to use to promote, to start working on marketing materials for them for the events. That could look that way. Whatever the next steps look like for you, I think really just strategizing, laying it out, presenting it to them in a personal manner, and then having all the follow-up steps afterwards so that they know what to expect and it's presented to them in a really professional manner, and they know that their money is going to be used wisely toward the event. I've always been able to get the expense covered by sponsors. So there really is a lot of strategy and time and effort that goes into planning these events. There is so much more to it than just the planning. And what I mean by that is sharing the entire process leading up to the event is going to get people excited to come, and it's going to help build credibility for you. There's just something about someone who hosts events. I think it presents confidence, and people, when they're choosing a real estate agent or a business owner for that service or product that they are looking for, they want someone who is confident, and someone who is hosting events is a confident person, and that is who you are. I know it sounds so corny, but when you have confidence, it is just going to attract the ideal client that you're looking for, and it's going to help your business grow. So I think with events, it's great. And also, yes, it's really important to have one-on-one time with people, but there's something to be said about being able to invite your sphere, past clients, other business owners, whoever it may be be able to invite them into a room and to have them all there at one time really saves a lot of time for you. And that doesn't mean that, oh, it's not as quality of time. Like, you're still able to spend time with them and showcase, like, honestly, like, your love for them. Like, you want to get them food, drinks, have them experience this day that you planned for them. So it's just a really efficient way, I think, to get in front of your sphere and build that know, like, trust factor and show them your confidence. Okay, so I thought I was going to be wrapping up after sponsorships, but I still have a couple more things that I want to mention. So as you're gearing up for the event, one of the things that you might be insecure about right now is, okay, are people going to come? Like, sure, I sent the invites. Sure, I got some RSVPs. But you want to keep them excited about it. You don't want them to forget about it. You want them to know that you do want them there. You can't just, like, leave it up for chance. Also, another great freaking way to reach out to your sphere and be able to initiate conversation. So honestly just reaching out to them as you would a normal human being. Hey, how's it going? What's going on this week? Maybe mention something that you saw on social media or something that you guys had spoke about last time. Just mention to them like, hey, the event's happening tomorrow. I can't wait to see you type thing. You could do this a week out, and then you could do it the day before or the morning of, just letting them know how excited you are to see them. Sure, post this on social media and be promoting it, letting them know how excited you are, but going out of your way to actually let them know that you're excited to see them is gonna go a long way. And I really think that they're more likely to attend. And then there's the follow-up after the event, thanking them for coming to the event, maybe sending them a handwritten note thanking them, or sending them a little Starbucks gift card thanking them for coming to the event. There is so much to it. It really is a lot of work, but it's certainly something that I see so much value in. It will be really beneficial for you and your business. I hope that this video laid it out for you and that you have a ton of notes and you know what you need to do to strategize your next event. I feel like I have just talked so much. So thank you for watching this video, hanging out with me in this new setup. If you have any questions about planning events, please let me know below in the comments and I will get back to you right away with an answer. And until then, I'll see you guys on the next one.